have been invaluable in bringing this forum to life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a two-day event promoting a future where digital innovation and technology serve as a catalyst for progress and development in the agriculture sector of the country. We aim to catalyze transformative change in the agriculture sector in Nepal by fostering collaboration, promoting knowledge sharing, and driving innovation through digital agriculture. Yes, this is an initiative in Nepal's journey towards becoming a digitally empowered nation. To officially commence this forum, it is my pleasure to welcome and introduce to you our distinguished guest for the inaugural session. As I call your name, I request our distinguished seats to kindly take the seats on the stage, and if you're already on the stage, could you please kindly stand up. Dr. Dyutiman Choudhary, may I request you to kindly help us welcoming our distinguished guest. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Deepak Kumar Kharal, Secretary of Agriculture Development under Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Nepal. Sir, I kindly request you to chair the inaugural session of this event. Thank you very much, sir. Now, I kindly request Dr. Rajendra Prasad Mishra, Secretary of Livestock Development under Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Nepal, to take his seat in the stage. Okay. Likewise, as I call, I request other dignitaries to take the respective stage on the stage. Dr. Surendra Lal Shrestha, Executive Director, Nepal Agriculture Research Council, NARC. Dr. Dipesh Pista, CEO, E-Governance Commission, Government of Nepal. Ms. Sabnam Shivakoti, Joint Secretary from Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Nepal. Mr. Anil Kumar Datta, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Communication, Information and Technology. Unfortunately, Mr. Datta would not make to this forum due to unavoidable circumstances. Dr. Narhari Prasad Ginige, Director General, Department of Agriculture. Ms. Judith Almodovar, Acting Director, Economic Growth Office, USAID, Nepal. Mr. Bikash Dongul, Technical Director, Pathway Technologies and Services Private Limited. And our very own Dr. Dyutiman Choudhary, CIMMYT Country Representative, Nepal and Project Coordinator, NSAF. Professor Athula Ginige, Professor Information Technology, Western Sydney University, Australia. Thank you. Dr. Surendra Lal Shrestha, Executive Director, Nepal Agriculture Research Council, NARC. Moving forward, I would like to welcome our special guest for the forum. As I call your name, I kindly request our special guest to take the seat in the front row of the hall. Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Karna, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Dr. Hari Bahadur Kesi, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Dr. Ram Krishna Shrestha, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Mr. Benu Prasad Prasai, Chief Seed Quality Control Center. Mr. Rajendra Koirala, Deputy Director General, Department of Agriculture. Dr. Tika Bahadur Karki, Director, Corps and Horti Research, NARC. Dr. Lumanidhi Pandey, Director, Planning and Coordination, NARC. Dr. Prakash Bhatrai, Chief, National Outreach Research Center, NARC. Dr. Shri Prasad Vishta, Chief, NSSRC, NARC. Dr. Anil Rai, Assistant Director General, ICT, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Ms. Rama Devi Lanka, Director, Emerging Technologies, ITENC Department, Government of Telangana, India. Dr. Surajit Saha Roy, Director, Agriculture Information Service, Bangladesh. Mr. Shyam Sundar Singh, Co-founder, Dihat. Dr. Taisa Marota Brosler, UX Research Manager, Technology Integration, Alliance of Biodiversity International, NCART. Mr. Aditya Rajesh Shaha, Global Director, Strategic Partnership, Cropin. Dr. Boniface Okelo Akuku, Digital Development Specialist, World Bank. Mr. Mohammad Fahad Ifaz, Co-founder and CEO, iFarmer, Dhaka, Bangladesh. Mr. Robinson Lopez Monzon, Founder and President of Identi, Lima, Peru. Mr. Satish Nagarazi, ICT for Development Specialist, CIMMYT, India. Mr. Amjad Babu Sharif, Agriculture Economist, CIMMYT, Bangladesh. Mr. Warren Daly, International ICT Expert. Thank you all. Now we will play National Anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all rise for the National Anthem of Nepal.
थुङ्गा फुलका हामी एउटै माला नेपाली सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली सायो थुङ्गा फुलका हामी एउटै माला नेपाली सार्वभौम भई फैलिएका मेची महाकाली प्रकृतिका कोटि कोटि सम्पदाको आचला वीरहरूका राजधानी ज्ञान भूमि शान्ति भूमि तारै पहाड हिमाल अखण्ड यो प्यारो हाम्रो मातृभूमि नेपाल बहु जाति भाषा धर्म संस्कृति छन् विशाल अग्रगामी राष्ट्र हाम्रो जय जय नेपाल।
Thank you all. I would like to welcome on stage Dr. Dyutiman Choudhary, Country Representative of CIMMYT-Nepal and Project Lead for Nepal Seed and Fertilizer Project. Dr. Choudhary will be giving a welcome speech and sharing CIMMYT's overview of digital agriculture initiatives in Nepal. I would like to welcome on stage Dr. Dyutiman Choudhary, Country Representative of CIMMYT-Nepal and Project Lead for Nepal Seed and Fertilizer Project. Dr. Choudhary will be giving a welcome speech and sharing CIMMYT's overview of digital agriculture initiatives in Nepal.
Respected Chairperson of the event, Secretary, Agriculture Development, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, the Executive Director of NARC, the CEO E-Governance Commission of the Government of Nepal, Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture Development, senior officials, directors, chiefs of the governments and the province, Director General of the Department of Agriculture, also the co-organizer of this event, Acting Director, USAID Economic Growth Office, our eminent Professor Athula Ginige from the Western Sydney University, Australia, senior officials from USAID, international participants, scientists, senior officials, entrepreneurs and experts from India, Bangladesh, Kenya, Peru, Italy and Ethiopia, representatives from banks and internet service providers, representatives from various projects and development partners, farmers, agricultural technicians, private sector entrepreneurs, representatives from the co-organizers, Kathmandu Living Labs, Pathways and Seed Innovations, my colleagues from CIMMYT, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. On behalf of the organizing committee of the International Digital Agricultural Forum Nepal 2024, being jointly organized by CIMMYT, the Department of Agriculture, Kathmandu Living Lab, Planset, Geokrishi, with the support of United States Agency for International Development, I warmly welcome you to this forum. I'll be presenting an overview of CIMMYT and the CIMMYT's digital activities in Nepal, and also about this forum. The International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center is a core CGI research center that collaborates with partners delivering science for a food secure future. In Nepal, CIMMYT has been working since 1985, and it has an MOU with the government of Nepal to implement agriculture research for development activities in collaboration with the different partners. CIMMYT is currently implementing its Strategy 2030, the Excellence in Science and Innovation, which mainly focuses on partnerships, on food and nutrition security, on smallholder farmers' livelihoods, on resilient and inclusive agri-food systems, and evidence-based decision making. CIMMYT's core strength in genetic innovations, in agronomy and farming systems, and in socioeconomics and markets drive the success of these objectives. The USAID-funded Nepal Seed and Fertilizer Project, in short NSAF, is a project to develop the competitiveness of seed and soil fertility management systems in Nepal, which works with governments, private sector, and farmer organizations to boost agricultural productivity, farmer incomes, and business growth. It has basically 4 platforms or themes on policy research, ICT, hybrid and OPV seeds, and soil fertility management to develop locally adapted technologies. And these are implemented through a process of technology development testing, private-public partnerships and capacity development, market development, and adoption and impact. Since inception, the Nepal Seed and Fertilizer Project has been partnering with several institutions from international and national research, from the government, from private sector, and also agtech companies to leverage the strengths to drive digital and data analytics and develop ICT-based platforms for the government, for the private sector, and for the farmers. Since the last 8 years, the project has been working with the technological partners, the government and the farmers to co-create digital solutions covering a range of aspects from decision support platforms to improving efficiency in seeds access, soil fertility management, agriculture extension, risk management, precision farming, market linkages, and capacity development. And in doing so, we are testing and also validating the effectiveness of these platforms and the analytics to ensure that only the most promising innovations are taken forward. And this is what we call as user-centered research for development in the digital space. One of the major innovations that this project has done, together with the government of Nepal and NARC, is the digital soil map, which is one of the first of its type in South Asia. The digital soil maps allows us to find site-specific soil properties and also fertilizer recommendations. In the next session, there is a detailed presentation on the DSM or the digital from NARC. Going forward, we are also trying to integrate the digital soil map with crop type maps to come up with a fertilizer information system, whereby we are trying to estimate fertilizer requirements for different crop types at the municipal levels. This is a bottom-up approach which helps us to collate the amount of fertilizers that might be required in the country. This is being tested in 5 palikas with the government and the NARC, and it will be ready by end of September. Once this is tested in the 5 municipalities, it will be ready to scale out throughout the countries. Going forward, we also want to leverage on data collection efforts and harmonize the efforts to collect data on soil sampling, crop yield and area estimation, earth observation layers, large agroeconomic surveys to prepare unified agricultural ecosystem to allow us to harness big data and modern analytics to generate evidence-based insights for informing action. CIMMYT is also working on early warning systems for key weed diseases. This is a global partnership whereby to address some of the challenges in the wheat production systems from diseases and also other emerging diseases. My colleague Dr. David Hudson, who is here, is leading this initiative in collaboration with NARC in Nepal. So far, it is also reaching more than 0.5 million farmers in Bangladesh and Nepal with in-season, timely and actionable advice through extension systems. It is one of the big examples of a successful early warning system that is operational in the country. With the looming crisis from climates and risks from the several biotic and abiotic stress, CIMMYT is also working to promote crop insurance. We are working with our digital agtech partners, with the insurance companies, with the provincial governments and the Department of Agriculture to pilot a multi-peril insurance product which can be, we can offset some of the risks from climate from the farmers. This has already been started to pilot, and we have some extremely interesting learnings leading to sustainability of the innovations. And you will see this presentation from our partner tomorrow on the details of how this is implemented. Together with the Seed Quality Information Quality Control Center of the government of the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, we have partnered to prepare the digitally enabled seed information system, which is basically trying to transform the paper-based system for analyzing demand and supply of source seeds into a totally digital platform. Moving forward from this DESIS, in short, we are moving to the DESIS 2.0, which is basically looking at online renewal of licenses, online management of seed import and export, digital inspection certification, digital seed variety registration, and blockchain-based seed tracking system. Tomorrow, again, you will see, today in the afternoon, there's a presentation from the Chief of SQCC who will talk in detail about this innovation. We are also piloting several digital extension approaches with our partners Geokrishi to see how farmers are adopting the newly validated agricultural technologies. What is the pathway for adoption, and how are they actually using some of these recommendations to improve crop productivity? We are also piloting digital technologies across the commercial value chains for maize, whereby we are trying to use satellite-based advisories for precision agriculture in the farmer fields. We're trying to testing to link farmers and the buyers using digital technologies, and also trying to understand how extension workers can use these technologies to reach out to farmers at scale. All these pilots are giving us a lot of evidence to move forward. In December 2023, CIMMYT-Nepal, together with the Global ICT for Ag program, which is an initiative led by CIMMYT and IFPRI, we collaborated together to organize a ICT for Ag plus Nepal event in Kathmandu to discuss some of the issues or some of the innovations that are going around in the globe, and to connect the Nepali stakeholders with the global counterparts. And this was an event that actually brought the stakeholders from Nepal and also to virtually from various other countries to discuss some of the aspects. We found that some of the key challenges that is affecting digital ag to be the lack of centralized data infrastructure and interoperability, the high cost of data in Nepal, the lack of demand for digital solutions across the value chains, the issues around business and revenue models of the agtech companies, and also the sustainability concerns, the lack of testing platforms for quality assurance, and also the issue of digital literacy. So with these issues in mind, we wanted to dive deeper into these aspects, and that is why we have convened together here into the International Digital Ag Forum 2024 to showcase the global and regional innovations in digital agriculture that drive transformative growth in agricultural market systems. We also want to generate research for development ideas, learning from the experiences from the country as well as from abroad, to enhance and strengthen the implementation of the recently announced Information Technology Decade 2024-34 with a focus on the agriculture sector, and also contribute to the upcoming Nepal Digital Agricultural Strategy. We also want to identify opportunities to strengthen the digital economy and also the actions needed to close the digital divide in Nepal. So I would like to acknowledge the strong support that we received from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, the E-Governance Commission of the Government of Nepal, the Nepal Agriculture Research Council, the Provincial Ministries of Agriculture, the USAID Nepal, national and international participants who have come here from various countries, our AgTech partners, farmer groups, cooperatives and market actors. Thank you very much, welcome again, and I look forward to good deliberations in the next 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Choudhary. Now we will go for the official inauguration of the event by the chair. May I kindly request Dr. Deepak Kumar Kharal to officially inaugurate the event by pressing the digital button. Thank you. Before moving on with the keynote speeches, we would like to welcome you all once again to the forum with a short video from CIMMYT.
Innovate, cultivate, thrive.
Advancing agriculture with digital solutions.
Welcome
to the International Digital Agriculture Forum.
To the International Digital Agriculture Forum.
To the International Digital Agricultural Forum, Nepal 2024.
Thank you. Moving on, I would like to invite on the stage Professor Athula Ginige for giving a keynote speech on Cultivating Innovation, Transforming Challenges into a Sustainable Digital Agri-Food Future. Dr. Athula is a Professor of Information Technology at Western Sydney University, Australia.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning. I'm very happy to be here and sharing some of my thoughts and experiences over the last 12 plus years working in this area. Normally, to feed a population, we think we have to grow crops. But today I'm going to say we have to grow innovation, or we have to cultivate innovation in order to feed the challenges. Let's explore that concept. We heard some wonderful things that's happening in the earlier speech. The question is, with all that, have we solved the problems? Still, there are millions of people going without food. Over 700 million farmers below the poverty line. There is a growing population to feed. We have to meet these various sustainable goals, especially no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. So the question is, with all those wonderful things that's happening, how we can address these key issues. In that journey, we are faced with many challenges. Some things we know, the food waste, which is very high, The climate change is going to challenge us, which is somewhat unknown, though we are looking at all sorts of experiments. I heard yesterday, talking to some of the people who are here today, even in Nepal, the youth is moving out of agriculture. So we need people to grow. And then we are also experiencing a lot of unexpected pest and disease attacks, and many link it back to the climate changing weather patterns. So, how do we feed this population? I think the key is, if we think the same old way, we will get the same old result. We have to think and act differently. That's one of the key lessons I have learned over the last few years. Cultivating innovation for feeding the growing population. Now, we have many new digital technologies to help us. Earlier we were talking about network connectivity, mobile phones, but we are now going beyond that with Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, especially in the last few months. This has made very significant changes to the way we work, and also the big data. So we have many possible solutions. Now the question is, how do we convert these solutions to financially viable offerings? Again, yesterday somebody asked me what's the difference between invention and innovation. Invention is coming up with new possibilities. But innovation is taking it to a sustainable solution where we need to look at the feasibility, we need to look at the desirability, and we need to look at the viability. So we need to grow that ecosystem, then only we can feed the population, especially when we are faced with a lot of unknowns in the coming times. What value can these solutions create? Who is going to pay for this, which is, I think, a burning question in every quarter, and how do we capture that value? So let me tell a little bit about me. I'm the Professor of Information Technology at Western Sydney University. I see the representatives from ICAR. We have a MOU with ICAR, and we have MOUs with 20 plus Indian agricultural universities. We have been actively working in India. And what I'm very proud of is our university is ranked now for 3 successive years world #1 for contributing to sustainable development goals. It's not an easy feat. The university thinks differently. University allows us to go and take the research to convert into an impact. So I have been researching from about 2011, starting from the basic mobile labs on different issues. But during the COVID pandemic, 2020, we had a major challenge of funds getting frozen. We couldn't do most of the things, but then the university helped me to start a startup, which is, the spin-off called Vidya. I believe that name might resonate with you because it stands for knowledge, science, Vidya Peter. And that helped me to take this and start creating impact, and also partnering with many other universities. Recently, we did a very interesting project with Anand Agriculture University, funded by the World Bank, NIPCAST, on market intelligence. I have worked with Professor Jayashankar, Telangana State Agriculture University in Telangana. So starting from the basics, where I started in Sri Lanka, because I'm originally from Sri Lanka, though I live in Australia. We looked at the basic mobile application development. Digital extension work in 2017 we did in Telangana. And then we did a major project on pest and disease management. During the COVID time, we launched a set of apps to help grow home gardens for food security. And then we did many other projects in India and Sri Lanka. Now of these, our mobile apps, we have tested various modules, and we have found a winning combination of about crops activity calendars, community, harvest exchange, growing information, weather. But the key and what is underpinning our work is empowerment. Now I hear that word in many of the forums. We have to empower farmers. But what does that mean? So we have a student who had done a PhD looking at the basics of empowerment, measuring it and proving by giving the choices, actionable information, and supporting to assess the outcomes against and learn from it is actually empowers them. And this has been measured, published. So that is what is underpinning our work of empowerment, which is based on empowerment. Now, based on that, we have developed complete systems, as you can see. And every time a farmer looks at a page in our mobile app, we see what they are looking at. You can see from the histogram, we know what pages getting viewed, what they like, what they don't like. And we know that community module is becoming very popular because they are interacting. We understand through data-driven, as mentioned in the beginning. It's all based on data, what works, what doesn't work. More interestingly, now we can map, as I shown in the map here, where the farms are, what they are growing, how much, what land areas, and this map shows some of the commonly grown crops in recent times. But more interestingly, we started in the south part of the island in Sri Lanka and in Colombo in the middle. But now when we see these maps, we see it is getting diffused. Other parts, other people are through word of mouth are picking up. And it is getting diffused, and now we are actually into an accelerator program funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where we are going to now roll this out island-wide. So through data, we have established what works, what doesn't work. Now, how digital technology enhance agri-food systems? Because that's my major idea. Now the question is, what value we create and how? Because we know a lot of technologies, but what is the value we create? And I'm going to classify them at 3 levels: activity level, process level, and systems level. Then, what do stakeholders want and how do we meet their needs? Are we doing something our stakeholders want? And the third question is, what are the viable business models and how to implement these? Now I have selected, I looked when I was invited to do this speech, what's happening in Nepal, and again I found some maps. I'm sure I would very much like to hear from them if they're here afterwards. Are you also having this problem of scaling and getting farmers to adopt this? Because that's a major problem. So the question is, are we developing applications that they need? So let's look at what I mean by activity level value creation and process level value creation. So if you look at drones for fertilizer application, it's an activity in agriculture field. Sensors for moisture content is an activity where you can then adjust the water. GPS guided tractors, another activity. But then if you look at the process level, we can combine the activities to do precision agriculture, extension services, financial transactions, market linkages, certification, market intelligence, and many more. But can we generate income? Can we create sustainable systems? I think that's where we have to now go into the next level of thinking value creation at systems level. Because the key is, in agriculture, if we provide some input, we don't know what the farmers will get because it's a biological process. But at a systems level, we know the benefits of this technology, and that's why we are all here investing in how we reap that benefit. For example, if you have the mobile data coming from what's been produced, in a map, as I showed you earlier, we can predict what is been growing. That data is very valuable to various government agencies for planning, to generate market intelligence. Agriculture companies to plan their input supply chains, buyers to plan their downstream supply chains. But more importantly, even to set various policies, because it's all about data, and if we have this data, we can start to rethink what we can do differently. So can we do that? Now, at a system level, this is the value proposition. If we give knowledge, and we can help them to plan cultivation, crop selection, because we talk about various possibilities, what crops will grow, what is the right crop rotations. We can provide that as actionable information. Also, we can provide them with information to enhance the cultivation practices, fertilizer applications, weed management. All that leads to higher yield. But if they do the crop planning, from that we can generate the aggregated inputs required. Especially water is becoming a major challenge going forward. We looked at a World Bank funded project in Maharashtra, where we were looking at how the water flow can be coordinated, distribution from a canal. And then all that data can be part of the efficient supply chains to get the inputs. And all that leads to enhancing the cultivation. Then we can also think of aggregated markets and efficient downstream supply chain. So we can increase the yield, increase farm gate prices, minimize waste, and reduce input usages. And what is important is, if we start looking at it, this data I'm showing here is for paddy cultivation. Looking at Sri Lankan situation, if we have about 5,000 farmers in a system, the net value creation and then taking 10% of it to sustain digital systems is about 503 million. Once you start to do the economic modeling, you will see at a systems level, these numbers are pretty big. I have done that for quite a few Indian crops as well in Gujarat and Maharashtra. But at a system level, if we can make some small changes in a coordinated way, we are creating a very large amount of value. Now, how do you create that? How do you create these systems? Because the challenge is a coordination challenge, and if you model the agriculture system, we have the ground reality, and I'm using it for the cultivation system, the ground reality, because every area is different. Some areas we know basal fertilizer is applied just into the planting hole and then you plant it. But in some areas, no, you have to put it afterwards, because if you put it early, it goes down when you water. So there is so many variations in the ground reality, and it has to be localized knowledge. And in this system, we get this input from suppliers shown in yellow in this, and cultivation happens and produce goes to the buyers. The service levels provide the various advisories, finance, etc. All this is coordinated through a flow of information shown in red. And when the harvest comes, the money flows the reverse way. But what we know is this coordination system today is not working, the manual coordination system. This is where the digital can help. If you look at the digital, we can intercept all these three flows, flow of money, information, and inputs or the material. Because money and information, they are both digital today. Flow of material, we can coordinate by organizing the various supplies, etc., so that we can coordinate. So with digital, we can actually start to coordinate when we start to think at systems level. Not only that, digital coordination, if we have the digital coordination, this is where new market models can emerge. We talk about farm identities, providing insurance, finance. All those dotted arrows in this indicate where the new market models can emerge. So can we do this, or is it just hypothetical? Now to do this, this is where we have been doing research. And we can model the information flows as shown in this. We start with research institutes, digitize the crop information. We create ontological knowledge bases, which will generate the actionable information based on their context. Provide to the farmers based on empowerment theories that we have developed. And when farmers interact and do crop planning, that generates the market intelligence that is required to coordinate rest of the supply chain. As well as that information is provided back to the farmers to indicate overproduction situations, as well as to research institutions, what is working. And over time, now we have got quite large data sets. We have started AI and machine learning to understand the behaviors that is emerging. So it took us quite a lot of time, but we have also started analyzing this AI and ML. Now this work came through multiple PhDs. Each link I have shown here is a PhD. So you can see the amount of research that has gone into this. And they are all, you can see how much research that has gone into this. And now what we are doing is we are moving into looking at the whole value flow. And I'll go into the value flow model quickly. I'll just skip, this is the empowerment slide, but I will not go into the details of that since I was told we need a bit over time. But the key is we work with knowledge partners. We have a technology platform that converts that into actionable information. Farmers do the crop planning, which is already happening, and we get 3 valuable data points: the crop, size of land, and planting date. That we aggregate, and we can then start predicting the water demands, the input demands, and also the predicted harvest. And all that happens through aggregated online markets supported by blockchain and smart contracts. And through that, the flow of water happens, inputs happen, and harvest buyers can create various types of contracts, and the money flow can be distributed through the platform based on smart contracts. And all this is now in the cloud running, and each of these modules is a result of a PhD. So we have a microservice architecture where a lot of research can happen. They can plug into this architecture, and it keeps growing. And based on that, we are also generating new set series of apps, which will be launched very soon in Sri Lanka initially, but it has the markets to buy and sell, and also a lot of new information on crop care. Now, quickly I want to raise this issue, what the stakeholders want. This came from the project we did with Anand Agriculture University in Gujarat. We have the farmers wanting to optimize revenue, traders needs to optimize profit, consumers best quality, and policymakers and governments price stability, consumer protection. If you look at, these are all contradictory outcomes because everyone wants to maximize the profit. How can we do that? The only way we can do that is to enhance the total value creation. If we all create a higher value, then everyone will have a much larger portion to meet their needs. And to do that, better knowledge, better technology, timely, quality inputs. We have to minimize waste, supply and demand balance, which is a key, and better market linkages. Then, in order to see a equitable distribution, low friction markets, and also the one other thing we learned during COVID time is we need formation of viable supply chains, because the existing ones got disrupted, but they all got reformed. So looking at it, if you look at the current situation, supply and demand balance, I'm not quite sure what's happening in Nepal, but in India it's the MSP, subsidy, and price forecasting. But it's a very much open loop system. And we are trying to predict the demand but there's no clear data. And in Gujarat project, we looked at ways of generating market intelligence, and the key point is we found the rate of decrease in stocks that are held by government is a good indication to predict the demand for the coming season, or how much we need to replenish the stocks. And once we have that, we can create better market linkages by creating the mobile markets, and the market intelligence information will help to create that friction-free markets. And the other key point I want to stress is we again studied what happened during the COVID time, and we identified there were many adaptations that took place. So food is a very interesting thing. If you can't buy it anywhere, you grow it. So we identified a homegrown pattern, a sharing pattern, a local pattern, and the long food supply chain. And they can adapt, and where we looked at the various adaptations in the rural, semi-urban, and urban, depending on the technology and land availability, we are seeing some very interesting patterns emerging. This will be published very soon. This little bit is not yet been published, but the paper is ready. So looking at that, what we see is we can actually digitize the farmer markets that we find in villages. There are particular patterns that's happening, and by giving a mobile application to the farmer and the consumer, but where a consumer can buy not rice, but rice from farmer A, B, C, we can maintain some of that characteristics of a village market. But for that, we need to convert the logistic as a service, which is happening. And we have projects where this is happening. And the other key issue is, over time, the farmers and the consumers establish different types of trust. So for that, we have developed a digital trust transformative market, which is based on blockchain, looking at how they interact over time. Different types of market models can emerge, and in fact, this is a project that's been started in Australia, where this is getting introduced now. So all what I'm saying is actual projects that are happening. And the key question is, who is going to pay? And the challenge is, in the cultivation system, we have many challenges. Biological production cycle, climate change, and the risks are very high to digitize the cultivation. But the supply chain sides are well digitized, and in many areas we find the input and the output supply chains are getting digitized. So we are studying the ways, if we inject digital technology into the cultivation system, how we can capture the value generated using various economic theories. But unfortunately, I don't think I have got time to explore all that. But what I want to show you is the technology is there, and we are only using, I would say, only about 10% of what is available today to create systems. Though we have lots of wonderful technologies, they are not integrated to create systems. But it is possible, technology-wise is there. What we need is to think it as a system and how to make it. And to finish my talk, because I started cultivating innovation, transforming challenges into sustainable agri-food future, what do we need to do? The key is we have to do research, both at activity level, process level, and systems level. And that research then needs to be converted to development. It needs to go beyond laboratories, deployed in the field, validate. And this cycle continues. And that research should enhance the capacity building, because the key question is, what capacity do we build? And the research has to inform what capacity is to build. And when we have more people with that capacity abilities that can feed back into research, development, and field deployments. And the key is all that has to be happened in a transdisciplinary way. We have got computing, agriculture, economics, environmental science, legal, social, business. How do you combine all these disciplines and create people who can undertake this challenge? It's not a single discipline anymore. And more importantly, all this needs to happen within the framework of systems thinking and design thinking. Systems thinking is you look at the solution as a system, as I demonstrated. But when we are implementing, we have to think of a design thinking. That means what is the user wants. So we need to bring all that, and what in some of the projects, the major challenge was we could not find people with this level of understanding to move the systems forward, which has been a major barrier, lack of human capital. So going forward, I think we need to start with research, development, field deployment, learnings into capacity building, but within this environment. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. With digital transformation going on in almost every sector, we have to cultivate innovation. Thank you, Professor, for your insightful presentation. Similarly, I would like to invite Ms. Sabnam Shivakoti for the keynote speech on digital agriculture strategy of Nepal. Ms. Shivakoti is the Joint Secretary for Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Nepal.
Thank you. Respected Chair and Secretary for the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, all the dignitaries on the dais, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. So after the presentation from Professor, it's very hard for me to meet up the challenge because he has really made a very comprehensive presentation with various solutions that he has been implementing in various countries. So I'll be talking more about what is the digital agriculture, the current status in Nepal, and what is the strategy that Nepal holds to take it forward. So I'll be briefly talking about the digital agriculture landscape in Nepal and some of the initiatives that has been undertaken by government and private sector, and also the Digital Nepal Framework 2019, which has been the prioritized area for the government of Nepal, and some of the challenges that also highlighted by Dyutiman and also during his presentation by Professor. I'll also touch on some of the challenges that we're facing to scale up the digitalization, and the National Digital Agriculture Strategy that we are formulating, and some of the way forward. Talking about the agriculture digitalization, we've been talking about the digital in agriculture, particularly through the agriculture technology or agri-tech that we say. So it covers wide domain, and some of the domain that Nepal is already implementing. And the precision agriculture, we have been initiating we are still at the very primitive stage, I would say. But in terms of the farm level data collection through the apps, that is very much in practice. Drones, some of the private sectors, they are introducing this, and some of our government farms also, but still way to go. We have initiated weather-based information systems, both in the real time, and then also some of the pest surveillance, estimation of the yield, livestock health monitoring. These are some of the domain that we have initiated. And then also there is the GPS guidance system for the e-extension services, warehouse receipt system. So these are, some of them are in the discussion, some we have initiated. Food traceability system, we have initiated e-traceability in the tea that we export to the international markets. Digital custom hiring center, we have started a custom hiring center, but yet to go into digital. Digital insurance, we are starting from this fiscal year. Today is the first day of our new fiscal year, and so from this year we are planning to implement the digital insurance system in Nepal, agriculture insurance. Similarly, digital marketing, I think many of the private sectors has already embarked into this, and this particularly grew during the COVID pandemic time when we couldn't do the physical marketing. So these are some of the various domains that of the digitalization that we have been covering through. And then we also believe that because this is a major driver of change in the coming years. So if you look at the digital landscape in Nepal, in terms of digital infrastructure, there is very policy and legal infrastructures are there. We have e-commerce, digital framework, and very recently government has announced the ICT decade for the next 10 years. And then there is a various digital foundation are being laid out. And then most of the digital infrastructure and uses have advanced very rapidly in the recent years, but still the last mile limitations prevail. There is a household with basic mobile phone have reached about 73%, whereas with the smart mobile phone has reached 70%, and household to the internet facility almost 38%. So this is a statistic CBS data for the recent years. Maybe this has still grown in the few years now. There is a growth for the demand for digital services also in place, but again, knowledge or literacy skill, and then demand is still, because unless we have the digitally literacy reaches to the community, then the demand automatically also rises. If you look at the literacy level, 55% is the literacy level, and then highest is in Kathmandu with 89%, whereas there are still very region in the country which has very low access to the literacy percentage. So that also kind of sometimes hinders the digital demand and also how we expand it. And there is a question of cost and affordability also, and about the willingness to pay when we're talking about who will pay, whether the users or the developers or the government, so this is still something to be discussed. And also another area that we see in terms of the digital services about the monitoring of the quality of other various services. And similarly, in case of supply of digital services, there is both digital technology innovation and solutions that has been initiated by both government and private sector. A wide array of agriculture technology solutions are developed here in Nepal and also adapted in Nepal. Various government projects have partnered with the private sectors. You see some of this partnership modality presented by Dyutiman earlier, and there is enabling services are also there, including e-banking and e-commerce, which has grown quite significantly. But again, when you look at the adoption rate, or when we talk about the category user category, who are the client segments that are still at the native stage, I would say. So in terms of economic sustainability, again, also earlier speakers talked about the business model, the viability of this. Many startups are there. Government is promoting many startups towards the agriculture, this innovation solutions, promoting many startup programs are there. And there is a multi-stakeholder engagement are there. And then, of course, another area I would like to mention here is about the ownership, because government has really has taken the ownership of this digitalization of the agriculture, digitalization of the overall sector, and including agriculture sector in the country, and it's planning to make it is IT hub Nepal, and then this internet and then IT sector is one of the growing sector with the export potential as well. And one of the challenges, or when we're talking about the government uptaking of this, there's the challenges of the human resource capacity within the government sector itself. Because if we talk about the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, I think still because of the less number of the persons known in the IT sector, we are not able to scale up some of the technologies, some of the promising solutions to the community, because we need to be comfortable ourselves regarding this. And most of the time we are dependent on the private sector service providers, and sometimes again the quality and sustainability and consistency, these are some of the issues that we have been facing so far. Now I'll talk about the Digital Nepal Framework 29, which was approved by the cabinet of the government of Nepal. And so this has about 8 domains and 80 initiatives. So one of the sector, the prime sector is agriculture, and there are about 8 initiatives under the, it's 11 initiatives under the agriculture that has been identified by this framework. So just quickly touch upon one of that digital initiative under this is the e-Hat Bazaar, something that Professor was talking about, the digital marketing as a solution that he mentioned, which looked very, I think Ministry would like to definitely discuss further on this one, how this is being implemented, because that is one challenge is digital marketing is where we really want to engage the private sector and on the market actors so that one of the prime issues that farmers face is the accessing the market, accessing the price information, and accessing the good price. So these are probably one area that we have not really initiated this, although there has been some digital marketing by the private sector, but this is one area that still need to be explored and then go ahead. So another area is the precision agriculture program that is identified by the framework. We have done some of the initiatives, some of the work, but I think Nepal Agriculture Research Council has a major role to play here. Our executive director from NARC is here. So once we have the technology, because once we have the technology in place, then how to scale up that through the digital interventions in the field is another challenge that we have to take forward. And another area identified by the framework is the minimum support price and digital payment of the subsidy system, because as in other countries, Nepal provides a lot of government subsidies, and sometimes the issue with the transparency or the targeting, these are concerns raised by the stakeholders regarding the subsidy management. So this is one area where we have been trying to facilitate it through the farmers registration system, so that once farmers have the identification number and the farmers are classified, then it will be easier to implement this subsidy monitoring system in place. Another is digital land record maintenance that comes under the purview of another ministry, but this is already in practice. And there is other livestock and livestock product management, smart system establishment and use of televet medical center, something like in human health sector. Another area is the quality control system of agriculture inputs and production, so for maintaining the quality of inputs. This DCs, this Seed Quality Control Center and NSAF project has brought out this DCs software that was briefly mentioned earlier. We have a digital soil system and then also we have the Department of Food Quality, Food Technology and Quality Control. They have started this system through which they can monitor the industries, agro-industries, licensing of this system through it. And then there is a national single window system which is operated by Department of Customs, where all our quarantine, plant quarantine, animal quarantine, and food and food export import agencies are already under this system. So this is one way to ensure the quality. And then another is training and skill development of the farmers by digital medium. So these are some of the priorities identified by the framework, but currently we are revising the framework and probably revising some of the digital initiatives also. So I think this forum could be right place where you can also suggest the government of Nepal on what could be the possible area of those digital initiatives that can be put under the revised framework, so that that becomes the priority for the next few years. Just to give you some examples of the government-led initiatives, we have started this NAMIS web portal that was led by Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development through World Bank supported project, where agro-advisory systems are provided to the farmers, especially the early warning system, early weather information systems. That is already in place, and for that we have a Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, Nepal Agriculture Research Council, and the Ministry of Agriculture. So they jointly produce this agro-advisory and early warning system to the farmers. So this is in place. We have been improving this system overall. There is an agriculture management information system where we're trying to get the information of the crop, livestock, fisheries, and other statistics to the online portal system. We have been collaborating with the CIMMYT for remote sensing data supported in in-season rice area estimation. There is operation of the remote sensing data that is supported for this rice. So we are focusing on the customization of the technology, institutionalization, post-disaster damage assessment, and various other areas. There's a digital agriculture atlas of Nepal that was jointly produced by Ministry of Agriculture and CIMMYT again. This is how the MLAD prioritized invitation is, intervention is through the farmers registration system, because the Constitution of Nepal has given right of the farmers, a very crucial fundamental right, and here for the farmers identification card, farmers classification, and social security scheme for the farmers, and which has been mandated to us by the Right to Food and Food Sovereignty Act and regulation. So we need to have the information of the farmers, because as of now we don't know who the farmers are, because everybody can claim that themselves as farmers. So this is one area the government has put a lot of priority under, And as of now, almost about 1.9 million farmers have entered their information in the system, and we really want to expand this further so that any support provided to the farmers to all 3 tiers of the government, federal, provincial, local level, can be more systematized, more accurate, and more transparent. So this is one the very priority of the government. Another is of the agriculture market price information system. This is initiated by Department of Agriculture because with the federalization, there are a lot of new markets in place, a lot of market support by the local government, provincial government, and there are many wholesale markets as well. So through the Department of Agriculture, through this system, we're trying to get the information from the major 11 wholesale markets that are in place in the country. So we get the information of the price, the commodity that is traded there, and then the seasonality. So based on these, some of the informations, the Department of Agriculture can provide more provide information for the farmers to plan their production process. Digitally enabled seeds information system that is already talked about. There are several mobile apps that were initiated by the government that is in place, just to give some examples. And then also there are some wonderful works done by the private sector, just to give a few examples, because there are a lot of good initiatives, but I've just picked few. One is the Smart Krishi that provides wide range of information to the farmers through this app. There is the pest management of various crops, commercial good farming. These information are there. There is Geo Krishi. I think the pathway development, I think they are part of this process now. They take integrated system approach covering different agricultural stages, right, from the planning, preparation, organic farming inputs. And then one of the issue, the private sector has raised during the development of these various apps was also about the data that our earlier speaker mentioned, because when we lack many of the data that the system wants to provide one, and then of course about the interoperability of various systems that are in place, that there are challenges that we're also facing. And then in digital marketing also, a lot of private sectors have come up, cooperative market development program, small-scale goat marketing app in Nepal that was supported by HIFA. There is green growth market of Sinduli, initiated by some private sector innovators. And then with traceability, these are there. And another area that has emerged is in the digital finance and payment. So private sectors, they have come out with the Kisan credit card. Also, our Agriculture Development Bank has brought this Kisan card, so where that farmers can access the loan up to certain amount through the mobile facilities, and they can access these. And then a lot of other support provided by the UNCDF and other partners. There are already eSeva, Khalti, and other payment gateways are there. Now coming with that, because when we have the policy there, we have a lot of initiative ongoing there, but still there are a lot of challenges that Nepal is facing, and some of the, just to highlight on in case of the digital infrastructure again, whether our this digital foundation is all across the country, whether it is prepared, because we can see that sometimes we get to the internet facilities not very smooth even in the capital. So how do we reach to the access region with a good quality of this? So for that, good digital foundation is required, which is also emphasized by the Digital Framework Nepal, and there is what is the readiness of our communities. There is an issue of digital divide when we talk about the class, about the gender, about the geography, because if we say, because many of the studies has shown that many women, they don't have mobile access, or even if they have mobile access, the mobile is not, that they don't have smartphone. So that means they cannot access many of those technologies that promising solutions through the digital methods. So I think for this one also, and also when we talk about the urban and the rural area also, we can clearly see that divide, the rural network coverage, the infrastructure, the quality, again, that is an issue there. So this is also kind of hinders some of the initiatives, and even when we think of scaling up these comes as a challenges. And another area that I see is there is no clear strategy on agriculture digitalization, because I was involved in agriculture development strategy, the document that is a 20 years plan document for Nepal. So I was just looking at where do we find the digital agriculture, because that was developed in 2015, started from 2011, and we completed that document in 2015. So if you look at the document, you'll not really find digital agriculture or digitalization, because at that time this sector was still emerging. But coming down almost 10 years from now, I think the sector has really grown pretty well. So, but we do not have clearly strategy, like where do we start in agriculture digitalization for agriculture in Nepal? So what are our timelines, or what are the priorities that we want to intervene? what should be the research, how do we take on board the private sector? So there are a lot of things that needs to be spelled out. So this is since we do not have the clear strategy, and that is one missing area, I would say. And then about the smart subsidy, I mentioned about the service provider, and another is about, of course, the coordination among government and the private sector, because sometimes the private sector always mentions that government is not supportive enough, for this ecosystem, whereas government is have been claiming that we have been providing a lot of supporting environment policy support, and various other startup policies are there to support the private sectors to build this ecosystem as a whole. And then there is the issue of cyber security and all that. I think that is everywhere in the country. So in this context, government has now has put an exercise on developing this national digital agriculture strategy. The draft process now currently is being led by our entity under the ministry, Agriculture Information and Technology Center. So they have prioritized some of the strategic components, and there is some strategic recommendations by the in the preliminary draft has set, which is again based on the agriculture development strategy as such. Because in the agriculture development strategies also there are major strategic pillars that focuses on the improved governance, higher productivity, profitable commercialization, and increased competitiveness. So when we talk about these strategic pillars, I think this covers the value chain that we are talking about. So where to intervene this, internalize this agriculture, digital agriculture in for improving the governance, for increasing the productivity, for enhancing the commercialization and increased competitiveness. So the draft has been now brought up, still under the discussion. So once that comes in the ministry, that will be there for the wider circulation, also with the wider stakeholder consultation, and we'll forward this for the approval process in the due course of time. So coming across all this, now I see that there's very much opportunities for expansion of the digital agriculture, because as I mentioned earlier, Nepal has declared the next decade as the investment decade for agriculture from 2024 to 2034. And similarly, Nepal has declared the next decade as information technology decade, 2034 again. So I think this 10 years time is where we can really take forward our digital agriculture through the support from the private sector, research, and of course learning from our neighboring countries who have done wonderful jobs. So I think in case of the decade for agriculture, we have the agriculture development strategy until 2035, but probably we have to look into the renewed priority setting under this process, and investment from government, private sector, and development partners. So where do we want to see agriculture digitalized in the next 10 years? Probably this is an opportunity where we can prioritize and also invest in the sector. So this is an opportunity. So if forum can provide any, this 2 days interaction, this program can provide any recommendation to the government while framing this investment decade for setting the priorities. I think that will be a very good input, I think, out of this exercise. I would especially ask to our organizers, and also for the information technology, because this is overall, they want to see Nepal as a global IT hub. So in this process, so where do we fit in for the agriculture in this IT hub? I think that is one area we really look forward to getting the inputs from and the recommendation from this workshop. And also because since we are developing this digital Nepal framework, revising some of the initiatives under this framework, so also any recommendation to us that would be very much welcomed. So, so probably for the way forward, I think one of the we need to really put emphasize on is the farmers' registration process. We really need to expedite it, and the integration of the digital service system, particularly e-agriculture framework from a platform from the government, and particularly in terms of the issue, because when we are talking about the solution, we also need to understand what are the problem or the issues of the agriculture per se. So some of the key sector that we identify is because due to the climate change, farmers are losing the resilience capacity. So how can we strengthen the climate resilience capacity of the farmers through the various advisory services, insurance, inputs, precision agriculture, and etc. through our digitalization. So that is one area we really need to focus on. And then strengthening the agriculture trade, marketing, and supply chain management, again through the digital marketing, e-hat bazaar, e-traceability, geographical indications. So for all these also we need to really put effort into the digitalization. And then capacity investment, of course. Then collaboration in digital agriculture marketing platform, because all these, although this has been prioritized by the government, but this is not the government's priority alone, because this is the sector priority. Therefore, there is engagement of the private sectors is very much crucial. Therefore, we need networking and alliance for this kind of discussion and sharing of the information and various technology. And also we need to do the assessment of the service provider and what are the existing business models, so that we can partner with the private sector as well. And the monitoring and quality of the services through the digital platform, because this is very much new into it. We don't have any mechanism of monitoring the system regarding their quality. I think so in the due course of time, this really grows further. This also need to be in place. So probably our agriculture strategy, the digital strategy, can spill some of those things in the strategy document. And as I mentioned, on all three the documents, the forum, if you can provide the inputs, I think that will be very much welcoming submission from the government, I would say. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the colleagues from our GIS section who has put some of the informations together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sabnam, for sharing the digital agriculture strategy of Nepal. And as she rightly pointed, there are a lot of ongoing initiatives, but a lot more to do with a change of time and priorities. Thank you, madam. Moving on, let me invite Mr. Dipesh Bista for the technical remarks on priority of e-governance strategy of Government of Agriculture in Nepal. Mr. Bista is the CEO of E-Governance Commission under Government of Nepal.
Namaste, good morning. Respected chair of the program, respected professor from Australia, government officials, acting director from USAID, Dr. Choudhary, representative from the private sector, representative from the different countries, and the distinguished participants. I'm Dipesh Bista. I'm the CEO of E-Governance Commission. Before the slides starts, I would like to use the time. E-Governance Commission is the new organization of government. It is chaired by Right Honorable Prime Minister. The co-chair of this organization is the Minister for Communication and Information Technology. The members are the Chief Secretary, the secretaries from Prime Minister Office, the secretary from Ministry of Communication, and I'm also the member of the commission. I work as the member secretary when there is the meeting of commission, and there are 2 appointees. So this commission is housed in the Prime Minister Office. So now we have prepared the e-governance blueprint, and we would like to collaborate with Ministry of Agriculture. I have prepared this presentation to come to the Ministry of Agriculture. I would like to take this opportunity because respected secretary is here, and the government officials from the Ministry of Agriculture are also here. So I have already explained about the structure. We have the permanent structure. So the positioning of E-Governance Commission, some of the slides are in Nepali. The position of E-Governance Commission is there. Our licensing ministry is Prime Minister Office. So there may be some confusion between the organizations. Who is the policymaker, who is the executive? So we are very clear on it. E-Governance Commission is the horizontal coordinator. We are not the vertical coordinator. We are the horizontal coordinator. Please allow me to talk on the topic of whole of government, and I will create some space for agriculture here. So we will do we will make the strategic policies, but not sectoral. So this is the structure. We are the horizontal coordinator. There is the Ministry of Agriculture, there is the Ministry of Education, and there is the Ministry of Health. All the ministries have their one database. Practically, there is the relationship between the data of Health Ministry and data of Education Ministry and data of Agriculture Ministry, but we have not defined the relationship in Act. There is no any legal definitions between the relationship between Act, so we are going to define the relationship between the database. So this is the first meeting, photo of first meeting, second meeting, and we have decided to make the e-governance blueprint, to make the Citizen Service Center, to make the e-governance act. So we have already taken the consent from cabinet and that we are drafting the e-governance act. Now we are preparing AI governance strategy, personal data protection policy, business continuity plan for critical infrastructure, and we are also going to make the e-governance champions. We are going to make the leaders in each ministry, in each vertical who can lead the agenda of e-governance. And we are also coordinating the 3 tiers of government for the digital governance. So, yes, now you are making the National Digital Agricultural Strategy. In this context, I would like to say something to you. First of all, we have to understand that e-governance is not translation, it's transformation. A line from one government office is, if that line is transferred from one office to the cyber, then it is not e-governance. It is only translation. For the transformation, we have to make the ecosystem. So e-governance, many people are telling that e-governance, it's about the IT people. It's about the IT human resource. It is only 20% IT. It's 80% governance. So I would like to highlight this thing for the human resource capacity of Ministry of Agriculture as well. How much people do you have in the IT domain? There is the difference between digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Digitization is only making the hard copy to soft copy, from analog to digital. Digitalization means it's making the automation process of one office. For example, if we make a system of Agriculture Ministry and automate it, so it is digitalization. But if we are unable to connect Agriculture Ministry with Health Ministry, if we are unable to connect Health Ministry with Education Ministry, then we will not get digital transformation. So e-Governance Commission is now working to make the strategies and policies that will lead us for the digital transformation. So I'd like to highlight some of the pillars of e-governance blueprint. The pillar 1 is clear governance framework for digital government. I would like to request you, if you can, because we will come to the Ministry of Agriculture formally as well, but to the organizations who are involved in making the National Digital Agriculture Strategy, I think you have to consider some of the recommendations that is included in e-governance blueprint, which is going to be formally passed by the cabinet in recent months. So there we need one organization which will coordinate as the horizontal coordinator in the country. We have recommending the organizations who are making the policies and education, who are working at the education agencies. And the most important thing, we do not have data protection authority here in Nepal. If there is any breach in the data, if there is any loss of the data, if there is any loss of the data of the Geocracy app, then what will happen? What will we refer? We don't have any such legal, we have some legal tools, but that is old. So we are recommending to make the data protection authority, and not only that, we are also recommending to make the Personal Data Protection Act in Nepal, and we are already drafting the personal data protection policy. The second pillar is we are going to bring the only once policy. What does it mean? It means that now every organization is allowed to collect the data for only one time. If the data is collected by, if the address is collected by Ministry of Federal Affairs, if my health record is collected by any hospital, then another organization is not allowed to collect my health data. If my education data is collected by any one organization, then another organization will not be allowed to collect that data. It means that we are going to make health registry, education registry, agricultural registry. There will be different registries, and those registries, those databases will have the legal mandate. It means that we fill up the form for 50 times, And in each form, why should we fill up our education details? That detail should be taken from the one registry. So we are going to recommend those things in the blueprint. And we are also talking about zero legacy policy. It means that there are some critical infrastructures, and the critical infrastructures have A's. So in only one's policy, we will talk about registry of registries, legal mandate of database, data exchange layer, and who has seen my data. The data collected for agriculture purpose. Can we assure the consumer that that data is protected and that data is only used for the purpose that is collected? So we are also going to define that. I have already talked about data protection law. And see, many of government organizations and many of private organizations are thinking that they are collecting the data of people, and they are thinking that they are the owner of data. They are not the owner of data. They are only custodian of data. So we have to make them understand that they are only custodian of data, and they should be ready to share the data. So in every government offices, we have Suchana Adhikari, information officers, but internationally now in many organizations, they have data protection officer in those organizations. So we need to make the network of data protection authorities, data protection officers between the organizations. So we are talking about the legal basis for data sets. It means that the acquisition, maintenance, privacy, development, archival, and deletion of data should be defined. The process of those should be defined. So in German, if the government is not able to provide all services online within January 2029, then the citizen can sue the government. So it means that all our services are now we are in such a situation that we have to make all our services online within some years, because now it is being internationally practiced as well. And I have a question to the audience as well, but you don't have to answer it now. Do we have national data strategy here in Nepal? Is there the difference between statistics and data? Are we considering statistics similar as data? A data that is collected in Ward Office, a birth registration in Ward Office, can be used for another 100 purposes, but we are not using the data. The data collected for one purpose is terminated in there. So we are going to make the national data strategy in coordination with National Statistics Office. Here is one example. The plots this is the plot of accidents in Estonia. The most dense area of the plots is the supermarket where most accidents happen. And a bike going from supermarket, if it gets accident, then the insurance company will pay lower than the bike going on another less accident area. It means because the message is the bike rider already knows there are more accidents. So it means that we can use the open data. This portal has been made by the private sector. So if we can make the data of government open, then the private sector can flourish. Then the private sector can make their softwares, work in the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So, and another very important fact is the Ministry of Agriculture is already working in Farmer ID. But we have to consolidate all the fragmented ID in one ID, and that should be national ID. I think we will go on that after the national ID starts its integration. We have to integrate the farmer ID with the national ID. The farmers should be identified with the same ID in the bank or even for the agriculture purpose. And the most important thing that is we are recommending to establish the data exchange platform. It means that the data will not be collected from every database in one place. The data will remain there, but we will take some of the data that is useful. So this is the principle on which we are working. Sorry for some of the spelling mistakes. When the data runs, then the people do not have to run for the service. Our people, our citizens are running in each office, whether it is private sector or whether it is government sector, because the data are not moving. The data is not moving. So we are working on this principle. We are going to run the data between the offices, and how it happens, we are going to introduce the data exchange platform. How it will work, I will show you. See, if we compare Nepal with India stack, if we call Nepal's stack as Nepal stack, then in India they have identity layer, payment layer, and data layer. In Nepal, we also have identity layer that is national ID. We have payment layer, but not integrated with national ID. But we don't have one layer here in Nepal, and that is we don't have data exchange layer. And until and unless we don't have data exchange layer, we'll not get good governance. Because agriculture, the data in agriculture domain should be shareable to the financial institutions. The data of agriculture should be also shared with the insurance. So it means that the interoperability within the agriculture vertical and the interoperability outside the agriculture vertical is very, very important for the good governance. See, the basic concept is how we are working nowadays. We have tax department, education department, health department, different sign-on, different payments, different data. But now, after the e-governance blueprint, and after the implementation of e-governance blueprint, what we will do is that we will work on the concept of digital public infrastructure. What does it mean? If the infrastructure are not reusable, they are not digital public infrastructure. For example, the basic foundations will be like that. On the basic foundations, there will be different functions. So there are 4 layers. One is identity layer, second is consent layer, second is payment layer, third is exchange layer, and the fourth is consent layer. We have to ask the consumer, can I use your data? And after we introduce the Personal Data Protection Act and the Data Protection Authority, I think we'll achieve this layer as well. So digital signature, it's very, very important. I don't want to go detail on this. See, now in blueprint we have recommended for the transition from registering events to registering state. What does it mean? It means that nowadays the birth registration is like this. We have to submit the proof from the hospital, we have to submit the marriage certificate, we have to submit the citizenship of father and mother and photo. But now we will do the business process reengineering. So I also request you who are making the National Digital Agriculture Strategy, let's include the concept of business process reengineering on that. What does it mean? It means like this. For the certificate from the hospital, the ward office will ask data exchange platform. Data exchange platform will ask health ministry. Health ministry will ask partner hospital. And partner hospital will say, oh, this baby is born on this date with this weight. Then why? Because the customer, the citizen does not have to submit the certificate. So if we want to go to the certificate-less society, if we want to reach the paperless society, then the one database has to be verified by another database. We should be able to connect the databases. If my certificate is to be verified, then why I have to submit my photocopy? The state is issuing citizenship. The state is issuing different other certificates. And why I have to submit my photocopy to the state? So if the state can verify its document by itself, then the 50% governance will come. And for this, we need data exchange platform, data exchange layer in Nepal. So I think this data exchange layer will be useful for the agriculture domain as well, because you have to exchange your data with other verticals. So the main problem that we are facing is the certificates we are issuing is not machine readable. Suppose the QR vaccine, it is machine readable and it can be used globally. Can you use your certificate, your academic certificate, that cannot be, verified globally? So about the business process reengineering, there are many steps. And we are also launching the e-governance champion program. The chief secretary and the secretaries are here. We are doing these programs with the secretaries, with the government officials, with the politicians as well, so that we can make the leaders. But until and unless we make the leaders in each vertical, the transformation is not possible. So I request Agricultural Ministry, and I request the agricultural domain, please at least make 15 leaders within your domain who can lead this mission. Yes, and there are many priorities in the national policies, in the 16th plan as well. So I will not go detail on these things. I'm already out of time, but I would like to explain one slide. I have taken loan like this way. I have gone to verify my address. I have gone to university to certify my certificates. I have gone to engineering council for the engineering certificate, council certificate, and I have taken the salary certificate and I have submitted to the bank. But now, after the business process re-engineering, after we start implementation of blueprint, the process will be re-engineered, and that is, we will take loan like this way. I don't have to go each office now. Now the bank will ask Data Exchange platform to verify my certificate, and that Data Exchange platform will ask Tribhuvan University, has Dipesh passed from that university? And the university will answer, yes, in this year, this degree with this percentage. So it means that I don't have to take the certificates now. The database of bank will verify the database of university. So this is the core concept. And lastly, in Estonia, because our e-governance blueprint has been made by the international consultant from Estonia, what happens? There was a birth of a child, and after 2 days, the government sent one message to the parents, congratulations for the birth of new girl. According to the policy of our country, you will get the child benefits. Please tell us in which account should we deposit it. It means that the citizen is not going to the government is going to the citizen to serve. It is proactive government. The proactive government is only possible when we make the ecosystem, when we connect everything. Not only that, the government asked after 6 years, your child has to go to this school. There are 3 schools in the community, and in each school, this much student will be increased. We have to increase this much teacher, and we have to increase this much rooms. Please tell us in which school, what is the priority, in which school you want to admit your child. So it means that we can plan. It means for how we can do it is that if we are able to make one ecosystem, then we will achieve digital transformation, and then we will achieve digital Nepal. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm already getting positive vibes listening to the speech of Mr. Bista. You know, it is overwhelming to see how e-Governance Commission is coming up with digital transformation initiatives and policies to strengthen data governance in the country. We are looking forward to it, sir. Okay, without much delay, let us move ahead. And now I would like to invite Mr. Bikash Dangol, Technical Director of Pathway Technologies and Services, for his remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Chair of the session, Honorable Secretary of Agriculture and Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock Development, distinguished guests, speakers, participants. Welcome to the International Digital Agriculture Forum, Nepal 2024. On behalf of my organization, Pathway Technologies, and our co-organizers, I'm delighted to see so many passionate individuals gathered here to explore the future of digital agriculture in Nepal. Our theme, if you can reiterate, our theme is Innovate, Cultivate, and Thrive, advancing agriculture with digital solution that perfectly matches and captures our collective mission of leveraging digital solutions to transform agriculture for the better socioeconomic impacts. Digital agriculture is truly a game changer, and that has already been proven in many countries. It has potential to make farming more efficient, sustainable, and resilient. Through our geocracy platforms and its services, we are committed to fostering innovations that empower farmers, enhance their productivity, profitability, and ensuring the food security. We have seen how digital solutions, tools can provide farmers with information, services, access to credit and insurance, and the market insights that were previously out of reach to the farmers. Now, over the next 2 days, we will be diving into a wide array of topics. Yeah, it could be like the AI, blockchains, we have been hearing these words, and the digital soil maps, and then we will also be discussing on the policy frameworks that will have a very positive impact on digital agriculture. And then, of course, the market linkages. And I feel that these discussions are very essential in identifying what are the challenges and what are the opportunities in implementing the digital solutions in agriculture. I'm really excited about the presentations from our local agtech companies, as well as the learnings from the international experts. These innovations showcase the incredible potential of local talent and highlight the importance of creating a supporting environment for the startups. And these companies, these startup companies, private companies, are the forefront of driving the change we need in the agriculture. Nevertheless, I will come to the point of how the support from the government and the development partners is very, very essential for these startups to thrive. And this requires, from the government side, breaking some of the restrictive regulations. And as Deepak has pointed, we need to have open data access. That's very, very essential in terms of the startups to thrive and survive. And of course, the interoperability of the system. So data interoperability is very, very essential. We always see people taking custodian of the data and not sharing. So that is also very, very essential if we really talk about the digital agriculture. So so by fostering the flexible and the collaborative environment, the government can pave the way for innovations. And for the development partners, I would see they can contribute by aligning the activities and their programs with the local agtech companies. And Dyutiman has already mentioned some of the examples in his earlier remarks, earlier presentations. They should offer technical expertise to the local startups. They should bring the technical expertise like the one we have on the dais. We have heard their experiences. And this comprehensive support from both development partners as well as the government will then create a vibrant ecosystems, enabling startups to develop sustainable ventures that can provide long-term, reliable service to farmers and ultimately transforming the agricultural landscape. And definitely, with the partnership with the CIMMYT, we would like to thank CIMMYT also in trusting our innovations related to geocracy and then partnering with us in developing and implementing different digital solutions in government, in different programs. So as we kick off this forum, I encourage everyone to participate actively, share your insights, and collaborate. Our combined effort will definitely pave the way for a future where digital agriculture not only thrives, but becomes a cornerstone of our agriculture practices. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Let us innovate, cultivate, and thrive together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As we are moving towards the closure of the inaugural session, now I'd like to invite Ms. Judith Almodovar, Acting Director, Economic Growth Office, USAID Nepal, for her remarks.
Hello, everyone. I'll try to be very short. I know we have a great deal of expertise here. Distinguished guests, representatives from the government of Nepal, private sector partners, development partners, international experts, namaste and good morning. It is my pleasure to be here delivering remarks on behalf of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. As we know, agriculture remains the foundation of Nepal's economy, contributing a significant 35% to the national GDP. The agriculture sector is crucial to reduce poverty, creating jobs, and fostering inclusive economic growth. However, several challenges remain, as we have heard from Professor Athula and Joint Secretary Shivakoti. That is why digital tools are crucial to enhance productivity, efficiency, and sustainability. By leveraging advanced technologies such as the Internet of Things, big data analytics, and remote sensing, we can provide real-time insights and precision farming capabilities. Digital tools, which range from providing remote advisory services to farmers, to enabling new market connections, strengthening supply chain management, and increasing access to agricultural finance, have already demonstrated the potential to improve agriculture productivity and profitability, as well as increase farmers' resilience to climate shocks and promote environmental sustainability. USAID's decade-long investments in digital agriculture are developing agri-tech solutions to strengthen Nepal's seed system and improve fertilizer usage, leading to increased agricultural productivity. For example, USAID Nepal's seed and fertilizer activity, implemented by CIMMYT, has spearheaded digital innovations on seed and soil fertility management, farmer advisory services, and crop insurance. Through NSAF, 10,000 farmers can now receive digital extension support, and over 700 farmers are enrolled in a pilot crop insurance program. This insurance includes field digitization and satellite weather image-based decision support for precision nutrient management. NSAF also supported the development of Nepal's digital soil map, the first ever in Asia. In addition, NSAF transformed the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development seed balance sheet that estimates the existing supply and demand of seeds, taking it from a paper-based model to a digital system. This is a tremendous success to digitize existing processes so that they're more efficient and presented in real time. These digital platforms are now owned and managed by the government of Nepal, both at the federal and provincial levels. Seed companies, national agriculture research centers, extension agencies, farmers' cooperatives, and others now have ready access to this seed information. USAID prioritizes partnerships that scale up proven innovations. In doing so, we know we can help smallholder farmers and other market actors generate higher and more sustainable yields, be better informed and prepared to reduce climate and market risks, and ultimately generate greater incomes. I would like to thank the organizers, CIMMYT, and other co-organizers, the government of Nepal, for their continued partnership, and the agri-tech companies and participants coming from different countries. Thank you for your commitment to advancing Nepal's agricultural landscape. I think today we heard that there is high potential and that we're only utilizing 10% of the existing systems. So let's continue to innovate so that we can promote inclusive economic growth in Nepal. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Ms. Judith. As we move forward, may I now kindly request Dr. Narahari Prasad Ginige, Director General of Department of Agriculture and the co-organizer of this forum, to deliver vote of thanks to all the dignitaries and participants.
Thank you, Madam. Respected Chairperson, distinguished guests in the dais, international representatives, esteemed guests, participants from government, non-government, and private sectors, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and good morning, everyone. I stand here before you with a deep sense of honor, privilege, and humility to express on behalf of organizers our profound gratitude to the Chairperson and Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Dr. Deepak Kumar Kharal, for having taken time of your many responsibility to join us here today and to share this occasion with us, and indeed for having digitally inaugurated our conference. Now, my sincere gratitude goes to Executive Director of Nepal Agriculture Research Council, Dr. Surendra Lal Shrestha, for his valuable presence and support for the success of the conference. Importantly, I would like to thank Joint Secretary of Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Sabnam Shivakoti, and Professor Athula Ginige of Western Sydney University, Australia, for their perceptive and insightful keynote speeches on digital agriculture. As an organizer, I'm grateful to our esteemed guest and presenter, Mr. Deepak Bista, Chief Executive Officer of E-Governance Commission of Government of Nepal, for his valuable technical remarks on e-governance strategy in relation with agriculture. Our sincere thanks go to valuable remarks of Mr. Vikas Tangol, Pathways Technologies and Services Private Limited. Similarly, I would like to extend sincere thanks and appreciation and valuable remarks and inspiring presence of Ms. Judith Almodovar, Acting Director of Economic Growth Office of USAID Nepal. I cannot complete the vote of thanks if I forget the presenter who welcomed all of us and highlighted the overview of this valuable conference, Dr. Dyutiman Choudhary, CIMMYT-Nepal country representative and coordinator of the NSAF project. In the meantime, gratitude is extended to all the colleagues for their behind-the-scenes efforts that ensure everything runs smoothly in this event. Last but not least, a heartfelt thank goes to each of you, the esteemed guests and participants, for being here and making this event a success. Also, I'd like to request you to join us for the remaining part of the conference until tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, you would all agree that we made a great start, a very thoughtful start with this opening session. Have a great moment. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ghimire. Finally, we arrive towards the closing of the inaugural session of International Digital Ag Forum Nepal 2024. Now, may I request Chairperson Dr. Deepak Kumar Kharal for his special remarks and closing of the opening session. Dr. Kharal is the Secretary of Agriculture Development under Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development in Nepal.
Thank you, Madam. Distinguished guests on the dais and all the guests of the program and international representatives, all the participants of the program, media person, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and namaste. Today, we are here to address the digital issue of agriculture that impacts the livelihood of millions of people in the Nepal. I am delighted to be here at this moment in this program. And first, I would like to welcome all our guests and participants at this moment. This agriculture sector not only supports 2/3 of our rural population, but also contributes significantly to national GDP, amounting nearly 1/4 of the total. However, some pressing challenges such as dropping arable land, labor outmigration, and risk posed by climate change have threatened our agricultural productivity. To combat these challenges, we recognize the urgent need for transformative digital solution as a sign of hope, leveraging technologies like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and big data to revolutionize farming practices. Initiatives of Government of Nepal, such as the Digital Nepal Framework, as mentioned by Deepak just earlier, along with innovatives like Kisan ID, digitally enabled seed information system, digital soil map, etc., aims to enhance efficiency, inclusivity, and sustainability within our agricultural landscape. These efforts are aligned with Nepal's agricultural development strategies, which seeks to not only sustainable agricultural transformation, but also economic growth and enhanced food security despite global challenges. In this pursuit of agriculture transformation, International Digital Agriculture Forum Nepal 2024 is dedicated to fostering collaboration, sharing knowledge, and driving innovative in digital agriculture. As the forum aims to review and develop comprehensive plans to enhance digital solutions across Nepal's agriculture sector, including exploring and adapting global innovative that can significantly boost productivity and resilience. This event can be a learning platform for all of us who are committed to improve agri-food system in Nepal. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development aims to empower farmers and agri-enterprises with the skills and knowledge necessary to effectively utilize digital tools and technologies through actionable programs. I am sure digitization in agriculture could make farming easier, predictable, profitable, and thereby attracting more youths towards agriculture and agri-businesses. I hope this forum will facilitate networking opportunities that encourage the widespread adoption of digital solutions by smallholder farmers, ensuring that every segment of our agriculture community benefits from technological advancement. My hope at this moment is to implement and to consider the keynote speeches and remarks delivered by our distinguished guest. And I am really thankful to all of you for your presence and contribution at this moment. Nepal's agriculture has a long but promising road towards resilience, productivity, and sustainability. we can overcome these obstacles and create a future where communities, economies, and agriculture all flourish through cooperation, innovation, and consistent commitment to digital agriculture. Finally, I look forward to the suggestions made by this knowledge sharing forum, which I know will offer an insightful information and workable recommendation, which will be helpful in achieving the goal of digital Nepal framework. I would like to thank USAID for supporting the Nepal seed and fertilizer projects here in Nepal. And also, I am thankful to the CIMMYT for implementing the NSAF projects and also jointly organizing this event with the Department of Agriculture. I wish every success to the implementation of Digital Agriculture Forum Nepal 2024, and I wish you all, especially international participants, for your enjoyable stay here in Nepal. And with these words, I would like to conclude my remarks and hereby close the opening sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kharal. Now, Dr. Dyutiman Choudhary, may I request you to kindly thank our distinguished guests with the memento. Thank you. With this, we would also like to thank our participants who are joining us live through YouTube. Now, I would like to request our distinguished